What is up, everybody? Solomon here. I hope you guys are all having a great Wednesday. Bunch of news came out today. We've got Coinbase announcements. We've got additional money tap potential partner announcements. We have Central Bank of Cambodia blockchain-enabled payment system going live, which ties in with a company called Soramitsu, D3 Ledger, and Ripple. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into this. If you see any scam ads on this video, please do not participate in those. All right, first and foremost, I wanted to get into Coinbase. Now, Coinbase just today announced that they are launching this cryptocurrency Visa card, which is already live in Europe, from my understanding, in the United States, which will draw directly from your Coinbase account. I think this is big news just because Coinbase, you can say what you want about it, but from a user interface standpoint, it is extremely simple. A lot of people, whenever they first come into the digital asset / blockchain / crypto space, are integrated directly into Coinbase first. So, Coinbase definitely has its issues, but draws directly from your Coinbase account. It's actually a pretty decent looking card. Coinbase has announced that US customers can now join the waitlist for its Coinbase card, a debit Visa card that allows customers to spend cryptocurrency anywhere Visa cards are accepted. Coinbase claims it is the easiest, quickest way to spend your crypto worldwide. Now, what's interesting to me is, well, first off, Coinbase card supports more than 30 cryptocurrencies, according to the company, and converts everything to US dollars before completing purchases and ATM withdrawals. Now, Stellar is directly announced in here. There's an optional rewards program at the rollout, apparently, only available to United States customers for now. You can choose to earn 4% back in Stellar Lumens or 1% back in Bitcoin. There's no issuance fee, but Coinbase says that cryptocurrency conversion fees may apply, and those can be steep. But I found that interesting. Stellar directly called out, and then Coinbase, as we know, holds quite a bit of crypto. Still, I think still the largest exchange in the United States. Maybe Binance US is up there too, I believe. All right, now, what's interesting, though, is that we did see, this was probably 9 or 10 months ago, maybe even a little, probably right around there, send money internationally for free, and this is via XRP or USDC, United States dollar coin. So now, but we see that the Coinbase Visa card announcement definitely has rewards for Stellar, so interesting. Now, the money tap announcement has been covered by many people in the XRP community over the past day, but it is a gigantic announcement. So I actually wanted to get a little bit of insight from some people that I look up to and I believe that their opinions are very much so what's going on in this space. So if you want to watch the money tap announcement video, though, the initial announcement video, I would very much so recommend watching Crypto Eddie's video. She does a fantastic job, and she's got an inside track into SBI, anyways, being that she is in Japan. So, but before we get into the insights from some of the community members, I wanted to touch base on this. I saw this today. This is Chikuho Bank, connection to next generation financial infrastructure and agreement on the use of personal remittance services. This is Money Tap. Chikuho Bank is Money Tap. Is Money Tap Company Limited. Okay. President and CEO. Oh, okay. I'm going to butcher that name right there. Provides next generation financial infrastructure and transportation for smartphones. We are pleased to inform you that we have agreed to connect to the Gold app, Money Tap. Oh, wow. That's interesting that they're referring to Money Tap as the Gold app. It's the first time I'm seeing that. Money Tap provides a smartphone application that allows users to transfer money between individuals safely, immediately, and comfortably. We know the Money Tap is built on Ripple. And I think Crypto Eddie has stated that she does believe that XRP is going to be utilized at some point. You'll see some other news here in a second. But with this agreement, and SBI Japan did an agreement with this as well. With this agreement, the connection with the next generation financial infrastructure will be in the fall of 2020, and the provision of personal remittance services will be in 2021, scheduled to start in the spring of the year. The connection with MoneyTap is ID/password, memory authentication plus smart at the start of account linkage. Multi-factor, okay. But yeah, so this is MoneyTap, trade name. And this looks like, this is interesting. I had the SBI presentation up as well. Agreement on the use, Chikuho Bank is MoneyTap. There must be a translation error here. It looks like Chikuho Bank is MoneyTap, based on how I'm reading this. I'm probably completely wrong on that. It's probably a partnership or the utilization of MoneyTap. But it is interesting that they're calling MoneyTap the gold app as well. So I did want to get into the actual Ripple investing into MoneyTap announcement here. This is Wrath of Kahneman on Twitter. I just showed one of his tweets yesterday as well. But, you know, this isn't more so news, but this is just tying everything together. Important convergences are happening with R3 and Ripple working in the same application now. And MoneyTap, both are part of SBI's next generational banking infrastructure. Does the Ripple press suggest uses that might further connect the two into MoneyTap? Consider the timeline. With Ripple's investment this time, MoneyTap aims to further deepen its collaboration with Ripple, accelerate the development of new functions and services such as small collection services, corporate payment functions, local currency pay, overseas remittance services, inbound and outbound payment services, and supply chain finance functions. That is one of this thread. SBI and R3 created S-Coin, implemented via MoneyTap for regional currencies / crypto, which are used in Japan, often for services. That is part 2 of the thread. The example of R3's Corda-based coin that SBI offers is Takakawa coin, a coin issued by Chikuho Bank to stimulate local economies. We just saw Chikuho Bank in the last slide here. So, all right, to stimulate local economies. Now, where's part 4 here? Yesterday, Chikuho Bank joined MoneyTap, so I didn't even see that this was in his thread here. The integration is scheduled to begin in the fall of 2020, and interpersonal remittance services are scheduled to begin in the spring of 2021, proving something of a timeline for the Fukuoka, I'm going to definitely butcher that, prefect. And Ripple invests in MoneyTap for tighter integration and new functions like corporate payments, trade finance, and more. Thus far, as it has seemed like Ripple seceded corporate payments and trade finance to R3. Is this competition or cooperation via MoneyTap? So interesting to see there. And then he does get into this David Schwartz XRPL2 statement and announcement here today, which I saw as well. This talking about the XRP ledger was designed to be fundamentally different from other public blockchains, and for good reason. This is another thread here. Proof of work mechanisms are transactionally focused, complex, and not designed to evolve. A consensus validation system, like the XRP ledger, better ensures the ledger can make safe forward progress. Consensus also better protects against the double spend problem and unintentional forking. This is why development of XRPL's consensus algorithm never stops. One example of this is negative UNL, which was recently proposed to ensure improved decentralization and resilience of the XRPL. That does not come at the cost of increased risk of validator outages causing problems. That's 4 of 6. Unlike what Ethereum has been trying to attempt in its move to proof of stake, negative UNL would dramatically improve the consensus mechanism without negatively affecting the uptime or governance of the network. Pending public testing, we could see negative UNL functionality introduced for review in the XRPL2 release. But it's ultimately up to the community to ensure the network continues forward progress. Now, obviously, this does not affect XRP, the coin. David goes on to say that, but it's nice to see the ability to scale, the ability to adapt from the consensus model that the XRP ledger inherently has, instead of these things that you're seeing with some of the other proof of work tokens that are trying to adapt, or proof of work tokens that are on another native blockchain, like on the Ethereum blockchain, that take so long to go off onto their own native chain. So I'm paying attention to that for sure. This is SBI Holdings, Chikuho Bank's agreement to connect to next generation financial infrastructure. Probably worded a little bit better. Apologies for the beginning of that. All right, now I do want to get into this. So this also talks about Chikuho Bank, and this is an earlier announcement 5 months ago. SBI plans banks to share ATMs powered by Ripple Tech. This is MoneyTap as well. Now, MoneyTap is very much so based on Ripple's DLT. So it's interesting to see how this is all going to be coming together here. So I do want to get into this as well. This is Arturo Portilla. This is he used to be XRP Research Center on Twitter, a giant. I believe he's a lawyer as well. But he goes into this as well. And he posted this earlier today. Breaking: after more than 1 year since SBI first teased a potential investment from Ripple into MoneyTap, SBI Holdings has finally announced the materialization of such investment. This is the announcement that I went over at the beginning of this video. With the help of Ripple, MoneyTap will deliver new services: a small amount collection service, corporate payments, community currency, overseas and outbound remittance services, and a supply chain finance function. Now, he goes on to say here, the announcement does not specify whether MoneyTap will integrate ODL, aka XRP utilization, in the provision of its international remittance services. However, it seems likely they will, as per the presentations previously released by the group. SBI's got, if you haven't looked at their company presentations, their investor slides, they have these like Ripple diffusion phase, Ripple adoption phase, all this stuff. XRP, in my opinion, very much so ties into all of these initiatives. MoneyTap obviously is based on Ripple's distributed ledger technology. It would make sense in the future for them to tie XRP in my opinion. But I believe that Arturo here is basically stating, based on some of these presentations, it appears that XRP and on-demand liquidity could be utilized. He's not telling you that that's 100% going to happen. He's just giving you what his opinions are here. All right, there's also no specification on what a community currency entails, but based on the group's presentations, I think there are reasons to believe this is about the S-Coin platform built with Corda. I believe that Wrath of Kahneman shared similar sentiments there as well. Now, this is big, everybody, okay? This is Wipro. If you're not aware, they are a giant, and they are acquiring Encore theme technologies. This essentially is tying very much so into Finastra. We know Finastra is XRP and on-demand liquidity enabled. We know that Wipro is also has Ripple on their platform as a niche vendor. So, but this goes on to say here, I'll let you read into this a little bit more here, but this Encore theme has focused exclusively on implementing a broad suite of trade finance solutions which were developed by Finastra to financial institutions across the Middle East, Africa, India, and Asia Pacific, a statement said. It has delivered more than 75 large-scale Finastra trade finance projects for banks across these regions. Together with Wipro's reach across the region and proven system integration capabilities, this will help strengthen our position as a dominant player across the globe implementing Finastra solutions. The combined business model would make Wipro one of Finastra's largest partners for trade finance globally. Now, if we go into this is Wipro's capability in blockchain here. Strategic partners, we can see IBM, I believe Microsoft is in there. We know Microsoft Azure is obviously enabled with RippleNet as well. Joint blockchain labs, and then they go into their capabilities as well as niche vendors. Some of their niche vendors on Wipro's platform: Consensus, Stellar, Ripple, Loyal, Biddy, TraxPay, and Netkey. So focused on specific blockchain application use cases, but access to the product/platform demos and technology enablement sessions. Co-innovation through collaboration. Now, this came out today as well. This is the B20. This is the business 20 that represent the G20. A group of these large businesses that represent the G20. Very much so talking about digitization. The one thing I wanted to pinpoint this is just this one article today. And there was a summit. There was live streams over the past 3 days. You can check that out on YouTube. Just YouTube search B20. All right, shaping new frontiers by enabling and even adoption of technological advances and enhancing a culture of integrity. The B20 recommends enhancing the environment for fintech, supporting resilient digital infrastructure. Digital infrastructure and fintech 100% ties in with DLT and blockchain. It's pretty much common sense at this point that this is tying in. I'm not telling you that this is XRP, but I'm telling you that this ties in with DLT. It ties in with blockchain, green initiatives, blah, blah, blah. Combining all the systems or breaking down silos. Supporting resilient digital infrastructure by growing requisite skills, advancing smart cities, and leveraging technologies to manage risks related to corruption and fraud. And we can see here, if you're not aware, like I said, what the B20 is. Essentially, they are the Business 20, the official business community engagement forum for the G20. Now, I saw this today as well. This is the G20 plans extraordinary meeting to discuss debt relief. I'm not buying a Bloomberg subscription to do this, but pay attention to November 13th. Finance ministers and central bankers from the world's largest economies plan to hold an extraordinary meeting on November 13th, which is a week prior to the annual gathering of the head of governments on November 21st and 22nd. So I'm curious what they'll be discussing. Now, I saw this as well. We talked about this earlier. Cambodia Bank in blockchain-based payment system. This is live at this point. Hyperledger Iroha, developed in partnership with, this is Bakong, the Central Bank of Cambodia. Hyperledger Iroha, developed in partnership with Japan-based blockchain firm Soramitsu. I did an entire deep dive into Soramitsu earlier this year. Actually, that was, I think, the best video I've ever done as far as views was concerned. I will link it in here. That goes way deeper into this, but I did want to touch base on this right here, just real quick. And this is that Soramitsu. Now, they are very much so tied into the central securities depositories of Slovenia and Russia, and are collaborating on D3 on a decentralized digital depository that is based on token issuance and post-trade settlement infrastructures for financial institutions to use to provide custodian asset creation, over-the-counter trades, and settlement services to their users. This is D3 Ledger. Very much so tied into that Bakong, very much so tied into Central Bank of Cambodia, Soramitsu. It's basically a decentralized financial infrastructure for cryptocurrency assets. And they've got some very interesting players tied into this. They've got a steering committee, the foundation, these institutions. But if you go down a little bit further here, you got like I've said before, a Swiss regulated financial market. You've got the Central Securities Depository of Russia, the Russian regulated financial market, USA regulated crypto market, Ethereum nodes, Ripple nodes, blockchain network 1, 2, and 3, D3 network nodes. So I did a deep dive on that. I will link that. All right, Central Bank of France, and this is more rapid fire at this point, agrees with Consensus. And this is for blockchain. Blockchain-focused technology firm Consensus announced on October 28th that it has entered into a digital currency cooperation with the Central Bank of France. Thus, the company signed its 6th digital money project with central banks. Now, it is not just SG Forged through Societe Generale that's tied in with this, but there's other partners here with the Central Bank of France as well. And they've agreed with Accenture, who we know is RippleNet, Euroclear, HSBC. Prior to this announcement, Central Bank of France and the Societe Generale Group carried out a pilot project this May. A tokenized 40 million euro banknote was issued with the support of the central bank within the scope of cooperation. So it just goes to show, I mean, we see this every day here. We see very much so that all of these central banks, all these nations are going to be rolling out their own digital currencies. I'm not telling you anything I haven't said before. Now, this is South Korea Holdings. This is in Seoul, South Korea. SK Holdings CNC signs memorandum of understanding with Consensus to further blockchain ecosystem. We just talked about Consensus. Interestingly enough, I do believe, and maybe it's not going to show it on here. Yeah, SK Holdings Coin as a Service platform through SK has been developed that can easily issue various regional currencies and gift certificates by utilizing Ripple's blockchain technology. SK Holdings can very easily issue multiple regional currencies and gift certificates by using Ripple's blockchain technology. So let's see where it goes. All right, this is ASX. Stock exchange ASX postpones blockchain-based clearing system. I think it was supposed to go live next year, but now it is going to be delayed until 2023 after consulting market participants. It is taking forever for all this stuff, but it's coming for sure. So we will see. Ripple, South Korean customer SentBay plans global expansion, including to North America. So we do know that SentBay is obviously very much so a RippleNet client. Moving forward through here, Michelle Bond, global head of regulatory affairs at Ripple, is now moving on to this ADAM, Association for Digital Asset Markets. I do not believe Ripple is a member of this group. So interesting. And Michelle Bond was only at Ripple for a year, from my understanding. I think she was also at SEC Currency or SEC Currency, however you want to pronounce that. Now she is the Digital Asset Association for Digital Asset Markets Chief Executive Officer. Brings a wealth of public knowledge. So I mean, well, I don't know what the reasoning behind it was. I'm not going to speculate. People move positions and move between organizations countless times. So I'm not even going to sit here and say it's negative, positive. I don't know. I do want to say congratulations to Michelle, though, moving and becoming a CEO of this Association for Digital Asset Markets. And apparently they're going to be engaging in regulatory discussions, blah, blah, blah. Is a big deal, though. So congratulations to her. Now, this is some other news across the board here. This is TomoChain acquires German enterprise blockchain Lydion. So if you, I actually haven't looked into TomoChain a lot, not very much so aware of it, but saw it today and maybe thought that one of you may have found this interesting. Now, moving forward, Algorand powered microequities exchange MESC.io launches hybrid exchange token MESX. Apparently, this MESX token is a first of its kind hybrid token model, combining both exchange token and decentralized finance token economics, creating an indexed ETF that tracks the performance of Microsoft, Apple, Tesla, Twitter, Amazon, Netflix, and Google. Very interesting. And I do look into Algorand a little bit. I know Kevin Cage is big into Algorand. He actually got me on the bug a little bit here, but this is MESC.io, and this is this token MESX. So I'm going to pay attention to that too. I'll probably look actually a little bit more into that. Now, ending this off here, this is OECD. OECD, if you were not aware, is the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. They are an intergovernmental economic organization with 37 member countries, founded in 1961 to stimulate economic progress and world trade. What's interesting is you can see where all of this is going, okay? Mobilizing finance for technological infrastructure is right here. And this is definitely distributed ledger technology. You can look right here. Let me blow this up. How distributed ledger technology is making a difference in green finance. We're seeing this rhetoric rolling out across the board here. And this is an intergovernmental organization, okay? And they mention directly Energy Web. We know Energy Web is tied in with R3 and Ripple at this point now to decarbonize the XRPL, specifically for what Ripple is attempting to accomplish with the XRP ledger. Mobilizing finance for technological infrastructure. Now, the beginning of this isn't too crazy. Talks about the G20 very much so in here, the infratech agenda. Endorsed by the G20, and this whole thing is about DLT. Endorsed by G20 finance ministers in July 2020. High-level policy guidance between governments, MDBs, and DFIs. Technology use cases in infrastructure. Strong link to past G20 work, mobilizing investment for sustainable infrastructure and the 2030 agenda. Now, if we move forward, collaboration with institutional investors here, technology and innovation. I think if I minimize this. Okay, DLT and infrastructure. Financing infrastructure. Unlock new and mobilize existing forces of financing. Doesn't that sound like that they are trying to unlock some of this trapped liquidity a little bit to me? Visibility and alignment. Visibility of climate action and alignment of stakeholders. Transactive infrastructure of new market models. Improving access to markets and finance for infrastructure. Increasing transparency, quality of data, etc. Promoting compliance with standards. Improving infrastructure operations, processes. Transactions is what we're concerned with, at least if you're involved in XRP. And record keeping. Enhancing technological integration, further productivity gains, and new business models. We can see DLT use cases in infrastructure. This is directly through part of the G20 initiative here that's happening. Carbon offsetting platform, decentralized infrastructure financing, all of these emissions identifications and certifications, enabling the efficient use of current infrastructure systems, traffic management platforms, power sharing economies, global logistics capacity trading. It's huge, everybody, how big DLT, blockchain, and digital assets are going to be in the world. Energy Web, Trade Lens. I'm not as familiar with these other two. We know Energy Web. We know Trade Lens as well, though. And now they did have another blockchain presentation as well. I know I'm dragging on now at this point. Blockchain and green finance. Where does it fit? Decarbonization of real estate. This is about tokenization, data infrastructure from silos to a real estate passport, data to scale efficient mortgages, from split incentives to new incentives, future steps, structuring, issuance and distribution, transfer of ownership, payment, and settlement using blockchain, reporting on use of proceeds and proof of impact. greendigitalfinancealliance.org. All right. Well, greendigitalfinancealliance.org has some high-level hitters on this in this organization. Ant Financial, the United Nations Environmental Program. This is all tied in with like some huge players in the world, the most powerful people in the world, the most powerful organizations in the world. Objective Approach, UN Environment Program, Executive Chairman of Ant Financial Services Group. We got Ant Financial again, EcoCash, GDFA, IFC. I've seen quite a few times here. Central Bank of Kenya, Paytm, MIT, Media Lab, Swiss Sustainable Finance. But they just put out recently a document. I think that this came out probably the end of last year that I hadn't seen before. This is Blockchain Gateway for sustainability linked bonds. Now we get into this here, and I apologize if this is blurry. Some of these are just crap. While green and sustainable bond issuances are just $167.3 USD as of the end of 2018, they still represent just 2% of the total bond market share, leaving room for exponential increase in issuance to meet the annual deficit in funding for the SDGs at $2.5 trillion per year. Digitization using blockchain is an avenue to accelerate scaling of the green bond market. That's a lot of money, people, and they're talking about digitalizing the entire green and sustainable bond market, right? The green bond market. So you can go through this if you want to. You can find this here, but I always post all this stuff to Patreon. They do talk about current solutions. I know R3 is mentioned in here, I believe. Shoot, hold on. Oh, wait, I just went to my son's Minecraft crafting page. All right, R3, state of current distributed ledger design choices here. Talks about the World Bank, build a private permissioned version of Ethereum. I talk about Ethereum all the time. Commerce Bank, developing with R3. BBVA, Hyperledger Fabric, Public Ethereum Testnet. Societe Generale, we just saw Societe Generale as well, tied in earlier in this video that I did here. State of regulatory readiness, Luxembourg, Germany, Switzerland, Seychelles, China. I mean, you can go through this entire thing here, but it's huge, ladies and gentlemen. G20, United Nations, OECD, intergovernmental organizations, all tying all this stuff into blockchain, where this all goes. We've seen things with Hashgraph about upgrading the smart grids. We've seen Energy Web being tied into some decently large players as well, being mentioned directly through the OECD, tied in with Ripple and R3. The Coinbase, United States Visa debit or Visa debit card, I should say, is huge in my opinion, because Coinbase is such a large onboarding ramp. Regardless of what you think about Coinbase, a lot of people use it, and the user interface is very easy for new people. And I think the MoneyTap news is huge, and I'm excited to see where the SBI Japan stuff goes with MoneyTap and R3, and hopefully we get some XRP. It's awesome paying attention to all this news, but I put on Twitter, I'm extremely frustrated with price. I've been frustrated with price for a year and a half, 2 years now. But sitting here thinking that it's going to go somewhere overnight is nonsense, in my opinion. I am just here for the long term, and the reason I do this research, try to do this research on a daily basis, is in case something happens and I need to realign or make different moves, I'm able to do that because I'm paying attention. And regardless, I do believe that this space as a whole is crazily undervalued, and I think it's being held down because these big players are accumulating as much as possible, based on some of the platforms and some of the digital assets that they're developing upon. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Oh, by the way, I did I actually made an Instagram for the King Solomon stuff, so maybe allow me to communicate a little bit more with you guys on a more personal level. If you comment on some of my stuff, I'll comment back, etc., and we can have some nice conversation. So I will post that down in the thread as well. I hope you guys had a great day, great morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you're at in the world. And if there is news tomorrow that is worth presenting, I will surely do so. All right, later.